All right, let's talk about Joe Alt, the fifth overall selection for the Chargers, who I made a video after his first preseason game. I didn't make one after his second preseason game, and he only played two, so figured now that there's some time, I'll go back and give my thoughts on how he played in this one, the one against the Los Angeles Rams, the Battle of LA. Let's start off with the play you see on the screen, as him and the right guard on this play are going to be double team blocking an interior defensive lineman for the Rams. You see how when it begins, I mean, really, I think I really do like how quickly he gets the hand placement to where he wants to be. That's something that we'll talk about in this video. You see right here, really in position to get that defensive lineman out of the way to clear up a potential running lane. Now, I would say he makes his, he does his job pretty well. I think that unfortunately, that player was kind of the one who still made the tackle, but that was just due to how the rest of the play went down. But for me, I thought that Alt did a good job on that one. He made his block, which is all you can do as an offensive lineman. This play was another interesting one where this is going to be a passing play this time. It is a one-on-one matchup with the edge rusher. Again, this is the stuff we want to see him do. Can he one-on-one block NFL caliber edge rushers? Well, when the play begins, you see how that edge rusher gets his right arm and kind of shoves it into the left side of Joe Alt's body. Sorry, I got my rights and left confused for a second. But yeah, to the left side of Alt's body, which is towards our right. And you kind of see it's doing a pretty good job. Like, Alt is definitely backpedaling a little bit. So what is Alt going to do right here? Well, keep in mind, he's a right tackle. That right hand is always going to be so important. Alt can try and knock the edge rusher more towards the outside, but if he does so, he has to be careful he can get that right hand over and make sure he still blocks this edge rusher. But watch Alt get him over, and then he's able to finish off this block. It's really good hands more than anything that he's showing on plays like this. And I think that's, again, what I like about Alt. It's what I liked about him coming out of college and what I like about him now. He's a pro-ready guy who has quicker hands than even NFL defensive linemen, which is, again, that's part of why they drafted him when they did. This plays another kind of very similar situation. It's edge rusher going to be going up against Alt one-on-one right here. So when it begins, you see that this edge rusher now is going to go for more speed. Couldn't really overpower Alt, wasn't able to make that work. This is a different edge rusher, but the last guy couldn't overpower Alt, so he's not going to try. He's instead going to go for more of a speed move, get more towards the outside. But like I said, Alt's hands are just so good. I mean, it's a little bit hard to tell right now because it's small, but he has his right hand all the way over to the left side of the edge rusher he's blocking, and he has his left hand all the way over on the ribs area. So then when he pushes off, he's just able to completely get that edge rusher out of the area. Again, the hands are really good, and that's just what jumps out at you when you watch his tape, quite frankly. Now, it was not a perfect day for Joe Alt in Los Angeles, where, this one, for example, you see that it is a one-on-one block right here. However, unlike the last plays I was showing, as you can probably tell by the way it's lined up, this is set up to be a running play. It is going to be a running play. So, when this begins, you see that, right off the bat, as of here, I don't think it's necessarily a bad job by Alt, but really the main issue that has happened is he's gotten a bit too far towards the bottom of the screen. And really, this is, I think, the defensive lineman for the Rams doing a good job at kind of getting Alt off balanced. Balance is so important for offensive linemen, and you can see how his feet aren't exactly square the way he would want to be. Because of this, that edge rusher also has good hands, is able to knock Alt to the side and help make the tackle. This was definitely Alt's worst play, in my opinion. Again, you're out there for a lot of snaps. You're not going to win every single one. This was definitely one where he didn't win. It is what it is. But then there were also plays like this where what's going to happen here is it is again going to be a one-on-one block, and it is again going to be a running play, which, hey, for the Chargers, I know that usually you think tackles and you think, okay, they're here to pass protect, but with the Jim Harbaugh stuff coming in, he's going to want his tackles to be good run blockers as well. That's how he's always done things. So, for Joe Alt, definitely his run blocking matters just as much as pass blocking. Also, just to be clear, because the graphic is a little bit confusing since I have a square, but there's two Rams players kind of in the square. Well, you'll see how it goes. Let's just start to play. So, when his play begins, you see Alt right here. Again, the hands is so good. Getting the hands there immediately, it's a little bit interesting, whereas his right hand right now, though, he's almost got like a chicken wing thing going on, which, hey, I mean, do what you got to do to make the block, right? But really just getting the hands where he needed to be at the beginning of this play, getting the leverage he wants. You see how Alt's feet are, usually kind of the way you view it is wherever you are parallel, that's where you can push forward. I'll use a graphic to explain it better, but you see where his feet are lined up right now. What that means is that he can really push in that direction. That's typically how you want your footwork to be, and it's definitely a good spot here for Alt. As you see, he really does just push that guy completely out of the way. It's good stuff from Joe Alt. And again, his technique is so good. You sometimes forget like how big and strong he is as well. It's really just, he's a complete player for sure, and you definitely see that when you watch his film. So how do I evaluate this performance? I thought it was good. Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm kind of at like an 8, I would say. I thought that he was consistently making the blocks he had to make. And for me, as an offensive lineman, that's what I want to see. I want to see a guy just get the consistency down. I've often talked about how sometimes I feel like these film studies about offensive linemen or defensive linemen can get very misleading very quickly if you're not careful, because obviously so much about being a lineman is not necessarily winning or losing, because you are going to win some reps and you're going to lose some reps. The worst players in the league still win a percentage of reps, and best players still lose. It's like baseball, right? When you're a pitcher, you're still going to give up home runs, just the best pitchers don't give up as many. So because of that, sometimes these film studies where you only show a handful of plays, I could take a great offensive lineman and make them look bad if I wanted to. So I always try to clarify when I make these film studies. I'm really, the main thing I like about Joe Alt isn't necessarily just these specific plays and how he was able to win. It's how often he is able to win. Like the fact that these plays, they're not necessarily highlight reel level blocks, although a couple are, but it's the fact that you're seeing this just consistently. If you watch him on a series, you could, get as many good plays as I got in this one. There's a few I just cut out because of time reasons in this video, but to me, that's kind of what I like about Alt, and why I think he's successful is, it's the hands, he is a great athlete, but it's also like, forget about all of that. I like him because he wins a lot, and if you win a lot, then you're a good player. So that's kind of how I view Joe Alt. That's what I think. What I think he can do for the Chargers. So yeah, definitely, I think very optimistic. I think it's I'm expecting him to week 1 be a good player right out of the gate, which could be really helpful to have him and Slater across from each other. That could be pretty good. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Joe Alt. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.